So thinking about a career as a relocation officer, it's, it's way more interesting than it might seem at first glance. We've been going through all this material you sent over, the career guides, those interview tips, and honestly, it's not just about moving boxes.
It's really fascinating how they blend those hard and soft skills. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Like the guy was saying, you're not just finding someone a house, you're helping them through a huge life change.
Right, like how do you even begin to balance all that logistics, real estate know-how, then the emotional support people need when things get stressful?
Exactly. The guide even said it's like being a project manager, a real estate agent, and a therapist all in one.
And whoa, speaking of real estate, you need serious knowledge. It's
Yeah.
not just, here's a house. It's market trends. It's negotiating contracts.
And that's where that human touch comes in, right? Knowing the market's one thing, but connecting with someone, figuring out what makes a move feel right for them, that's different.
Totally. And get this, the field is always changing. The guide mentioned virtual tours are getting huge now, and online document signing is shaking things up. You got to be adaptable these days.
Absolutely. And don't even get me started on remote work. Think about relocating someone who's mostly working from home. Suddenly, it's not just office space, it's their whole living situation, how it affects their work-life balance.
It's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah.
Speaking of adapting, did you see those interview questions they gave? They even had this tool, RoleCatcher, that analyzes job descriptions so you can make your resume perfect, like a secret weapon for job hunting.
Shows you how tough the job market is. So RoleCatcher, it breaks down what employers want and helps you highlight the best parts of your resume, like having a whole marketing team just for your job search.
Okay, so that's the tech side. But they kept emphasizing the human side too. Building relationships, really getting employee needs, those soft skills are key. It reminded me of that example profile, that senior relocation officer. They were big on mentoring strategic initiatives, how important those connections are.
And it's not just about the employee being happy, it's about letting the company focus. If a relocation's done poorly, productivity tanks, people are unhappy, projects get delayed, the relocation officer keeps things smooth for everyone.
Talk about pressure. But really, this role could make or break a company's success. So for someone just starting out, what's it actually like day to day?
It sounds like a real trial by fire. Some of those entry-level profiles, we're talking about coordinating moves, scheduling all those different services, even giving basic real estate advice right off the bat.
Wow, no easing in, huh? You're thrown right into the thick of it, working with people during these huge life changes.
No kidding. And then as you get more experience, the guide mentioned things like managing your own set of relocations, doing deeper dives into housing markets, even negotiating with those service providers. Remember those negotiation skills we talked about?
Oh yeah, it's not just about the people, it's a whole business side too.
Hmm.
Budgets, contracts, you gotta be sharp.
Right. And eventually you might find yourself creating those full-blown relocation plans, soup to nuts, understanding each person's needs, handling the logistics, and keeping it all affordable.
So you work your way up to managing the whole shebang. What's it like at those higher levels?
It seems like a pretty natural progression, going from the day-to-day tasks to leading a team of relocation officers, making sure everyone's following the rules, coming up with ways to improve the whole experience.
So even though it's about relocation, there's career relocation happening within the job. That's kind of cool. You're not just stuck, you can keep growing.
Exactly. It's dynamic. Like the guide said, every relocation's different. One day you're helping a family move cross-country. The next, it's some executive going overseas.
It's like they always say, no 2 days are the same. Got to keep things interesting, right?
For sure. And let's not forget, you're making a real difference in these people's lives, helping them through this transition. That's got to feel pretty good. Speaking of things that feel good, we've talked about the day-to-day, but what about the long game? What's the salary looking like for relocation officers?
Well, they didn't get into specific numbers or anything, but the guy did say the job outlook is really promising for relocation officers.
Which, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Businesses are going global, people are willing to move more, so someone's got to help them out.
Yeah, for sure. So it's not just about relocating people, it's about relocating your own career, upwards.
Yeah.
Not a dead end, it's a launching pad.
Totally. They even said the skills you learn could lead to HR, real estate, even what was it, management consulting?
It's like that saying, you're not just moving someone's stuff, you're moving your career forward.
Exactly. And speaking of moving forward, you had those notes about RoleCatcher, that whole
Oh,
platform.
yeah. Career guides, the interview questions, even that tool that helps you fix up your resume for each job.
Genius, right? Especially now, with the job market being so crazy.
First impressions are everything. Seems like that's what RoleCatcher is all about.
And it doesn't stop there. They even have that AI thing that gives you feedback on your interview answers.
Oh, so it's like a personal coach in your pocket, getting you ready for the big day.
Exactly. They help you find the job and land the job. If you're serious about this relocation officer thing, gotta be worth checking out.
For sure. Okay, so big picture time.
Hmm.
For everyone listening, what's the, main takeaway here?
Don't get so caught up in the logistics, you know? Like, yeah, the spreadsheets and all that are important, but you're dealing with people, real people.
It's a huge moment in their lives, and you got to be there for them. You need to be organized, obviously, know your stuff, but also have that human touch. It's about building a new life for someone.
100%. It'll be challenging, no doubt, but so rewarding. And hey, you never know, maybe we'll be talking about your success story on a future deep dive.
Now, that would be something. But even if you don't end up on the show, just remember, the possibilities are huge in this field. And here's something to think about. With all this tech coming out, how do you think it'll change relocation? Will those VR tours become the standard? Will people be able to, try on a city before they even pack a box?
It's pretty wild to think about. This whole deep dive has given me a lot to consider, that's for sure.
Me too. Big thanks to everyone listening for coming on this journey with us. Until next time, happy relocating.